Welcome to Builder Buzz by Home Nation, where we bring in builders, developers, and everyday investors to talk about one of America's biggest opportunities, affordable housing. We'll talk about real costs, explosive growth, big mistakes, and tough lessons you won't learn anywhere else. Whether you're building homes, buying land, or just building big ideas, this podcast is for you.
So today we're interviewing Jeremy. He owns two flooring companies, Creative Flooring Ohio, which has been in business since 1978, and then Nice Carpets, also in Ohio, been in business for quite some time. So he purchased Creative Flooring in 2020, which you'd think was a bad time to purchase, but was actually pretty good, and he'll share some of that. He had some setbacks, some things burned down, some lawsuits, stuff just wasn't really going his way, but he worked through it. Things worked out so well that he was able to purchase a second flooring company. And he's really in the heart of Ohio with a ton of opportunity ahead of him, with some big developments that are going on, some great commercial contracts that he has with some of the nation's largest builders. So tune in and let's hear how well Jeremy is doing. Getting started, you're with Creative Flooring Ohio. I see that since 1978 you guys have been doing flooring up there. Is that right?
Yep, that's correct.
Are you the original owner?
I'm not. So I am actually the third owner.
Wow.
I purchased the company in February of 2020.
Okay.
So right in time for a pandemic.
Yeah,
Uh,
really.
So it was an interesting time, and I've learned a lot. I actually own two separate flooring companies, two separate brands that are about an hour apart, each one. And both of them I purchased through acquisition.
Why flooring? Why'd you choose that?
Um, it really came down to what was available. So my dad left me a little bit of money when he passed away, and I decided to try to use that to change the trajectory of my family moving forward.
Yeah.
So I started looking for businesses. I was an architecture major for a little while in college, for like a year. And I've always liked the construction business, and found a flooring company that was for sale in my price range. And decided to tackle it. Prior to going into construction, I was in outsourced call center management.
Yeah.
So we did customer service for companies throughout the world. And so it's all people, right? It's all about how you treat people and educate people and making sure that people understand the processes and things in place, and then empower them to execute.
Yeah, for sure. So why not? It just sounds like it was maybe the most affordable or available option was
Yep.
flooring. Why not an electrical company, an AC company, someone doing concrete company?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of those companies, maybe not the concrete, but plumbing, electrical, HVAC, it really requires licensed technicians, and they are very much heavier, more capital intensive. Vehicles and standpoint, as well as unions typically are involved more in that, and so flooring seems like a little bit of a lower barrier to entry, which is both a good and a bad thing, because there's a lot more competition, because Chuck and a
Yeah.
truck can install the
Mhm.
flooring as well
Yeah.
as we can. But what I've really focused on is the relationship aspect, and coming from a B2B sales world, in the contact center world, managing those relationships. I've
Yeah.
kind of focused more on that, and growing with our builders and our commercial projects.
Yeah. 2020 you start, and
Yep.
this is the second flooring company you purchased?
That was the first one. That's when I purchased, was in 2020. Yep.
Okay. So and then this Creative Flooring Ohio
Yep.
is the first one. You purchased another one since?
Correct. Yep.
Oh wow. And it's an hour away?
Yep. Yep. And I live in between. So
Great. That makes it easy for you. So why not just expand and try to get that customer base that was going to that other company? Why not do
yeah,
that?
I mean, looking back, I probably should have done that,
Hmm.
and would have done that. But it's when you expand organically like that, it becomes much harder from a people aspect. So I have to find a place to rent or buy, right? I have to employ, find a general manager, or me go over there and start it up, find the salespeople, establish relationships, etc. Whereas when I purchased the company, it came ready with, 4 or 5 employees and a large following of customers. And it happened to be about 15 miles away from the Silicon Heartland project, a $30 billion semiconductor chip fab that they're
Yeah, yeah.
building. And so I wanted to capitalize on growth over the next, 5 to 20 years.
Yeah. Wow. When do you anticipate seeing some of that?
We are starting to see some of the single family home builds. So companies like DR Horton, Pulte, et cetera, are beginning to that is a opportunity for us.
Hmm.
But we'll see the replacements on that in about 10 years, probably. More
Yeah.
so right now. Some of our custom builders, we're seeing it for some of the executives and so forth that moving in. Um, so yeah, it's a longer term play for sure.
Yeah, that is good. So you've got 4 to 5 employees at this second one that you purchased, and then the first one here, which is Creative Flooring Ohio.
Yep.
How many employees do you have there?
I have 2.5.
Okay, so in relation to like your typical flooring companies, that's pretty average.
Yeah, I mean, we're probably on the I don't have as many salespeople because more than half of our business is commercial and builder, and so we
Oh,
don't have
okay.
as many of the retail, don't have as many sales people going after that segment currently. That's a goal to grow once we have our processes down and can be effective at closing in the home.
Yeah. What sort of processes?
So, one was both stores came from a legacy ERP or
Uh-huh.
flooring systems that were all Windows based. So you had to have a Windows computer. You had to log into it. So like even myself, I'm talking to you on a Mac right now.
Yeah.
So one of my flooring stores is migrated to our web based platform. The other one I still have to like go in, remote desktop in, log
Yeah.
into it, and it's very cumbersome. So now that we are moving to what's called Floors app, which is a web-based program, now the guys and girls can have a iPad in the home, have everything set up, and be able to really do that measurement in the home and close it right then and there.
Yeah.
That's just
Yeah.
one of those aspects. I'm not saying that's the end all be all, but a lot more customers want to shop in their home rather than coming to a brick and mortar.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of them can even shop online, no?
Absolutely. Yep.
Do you have the format for that, the website for that, or something you're building out?
No, we do. So we partner with our website, which is flooring specific, and they're able to actually send samples to the customers if they want that. It comes in a nice little sample box that they're able to open up, as well as do a room visualizer so they can see what it would look like in their room with their picture of they're doing.
Oh, really? So they took a photo of their room and it
Yep.
will put it on there.
Yeah, and they can actually slide back and forth to see the before and after if they want to as well.
Oh, wow. That is pretty awesome. How that been out?
So we've had that since 2021. So
Hmm.
pretty much since I was interested, the companies we implemented that pretty quick. It's table stakes in the flooring business anyway, because when you're looking at a swatch of something that's like this big, it's hard to tell what
Seeing
it
exactly
actually.
what it is, yeah. So
Yeah.
do you ever have customers purchase completely online?
We don't currently. We go back. We've had one or two attempt to. Both of those ended up being scams.
Oh, no
They
way, really?
Yeah, they ended up being customers who wanted to, purchase everything online using a fake credit card number, and then
Hmm.
send somebody else to pick up the flooring
Hmm.
and get it delivered. So we had to, and it's common in the flooring business that running across this. So we require if and when someone pick up that they bring an ID and the card they use to make the purchase.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and
So
and stop the fraud. We've stopped fraud in those cases.
yeah, so how it worked though? But they put the item, right?
Yes.
With that credit, well, so the whoever in charge is gonna,
We ended up
perpetrate
getting a
fraud.
charge back. Yeah. Yep.
Ah, wow, wow. So how do you get the ID? I see what you're saying.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. But ultimately, selling online, I mean, I can imagine that's a pretty big goal of yours.
It could be. Yeah. For sure.
If you can have if you can have a customer, like your salesperson doesn't have to meet them in their home. They can be on the phone with them, walking them through what's online, looking at the photos that they took.
Yeah, more so if they're DIY, more than if they
Oh,
are. Yeah, if we be installing, we really wanna get out there and see what the
yeah.
yeah, what actually looks like, because even via FaceTime, it can go one way, and then you get there and you're like, "Oh, that was a
Mhm.
motorized bed, not just a regular bed,"
Yeah, yeah, we gotta move that around. So then what
Yeah.
does growth look like for you? Because it's pretty in person, there at the site, I imagine. But you have
Yep.
commercial accounts, which are not easy. You can't really advertise for those as easily as you can retail.
Yeah, yes, yes and no. I think it comes from where your background is. So my background is on the B2B side, so I find it easier to find those customers than to find advertising and a retail customer. But it's a blend of both. So we are changing up our pricing and strategy as we go to market, and really switching it to more of a discount model. So allowing for us to be able to provide customers with discounts of, when we have things on sale of 35 and 40% off, in order
Oh,
to really
wow.
drive in. And then on the commercial side, it's really all about relationships. And we've recently started doing work for one of the nation's largest home builders. And before we even finished our third home, they gave us another subdivision that's 300 homes.
No
And
way.
so yeah, it's
Wow.
all about the relationships and execution and communication and so forth with those. And so, that ends up, being probably a $10 customer over the next
Yeah.
18 months, and then if we can add to that, right, and now we can go to market into to home builders and say, look, we're working with this one that is the
Yeah.
cream of the
One of the
crop,
top. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
one of the top ones, like you should be doing business with us as well, which won some apartment complexes and so forth. So those things kind of add up pretty quickly.
Hmm.
And while they're much lower margin, they're much higher volume. So
Yeah, I was gonna say, so why even bother with the retail side if you're able to secure those sort of commercial accounts?
from cash flow, to be
Mm.
honest. So
Yeah.
and your typical commercial or builder is going to pay net 30, net 45 if they think they
Mhm.
can. It's interesting though, the builder that we started working with, they pay net 7.
Mm.
So
Wow.
it's funny. Last week we did 2, 5, we did 7 homes for them last week.
Mhm.
With the last ones finishing up on Friday.
Mhm.
We walked in yesterday for a check in the mail for all of those.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. They
Um,
are taking care of you.
yes, and I think a lot of people don't realize that when they're dealing with customers, and it also allows for us to now have leverage to go back to other ones when they say, "Well, we're
Yeah.
a builder, so we pay 30 like every other builder does," and it's like, "Well, no, actually."
Yeah.
So, um, but comes the challenge, right? We did a Barnes& and Noble, project,
Mhm.
which, I realize that Barnes& and Noble is renovating, and building out 20,000 square foot brick and mortars these days, but
Yeah, I
apparently
know. It's crazy.
they're
That's
doing it all
crazy.
across the nation. And the project was labor only, so they provided all the materials and stuff, but we're, net 30 on that, right? So I have to pay all of my installers
Yeah.
up front, and then I gotta wait on that cash. So the retail fills in those gaps, and
Yes.
cover that cash flow. And the margin on them is, 3, 2 to 3 times, what it is on the commercial side.
Yeah. 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 Worth it. So what's a typical margin on residential and commercial? What will be for the flooring industry in general?
Yeah, I mean, really, the residential side is really 40 to 50%.
Hmm.
And then on the side, it's all over the place, to be honest.
Really?
I've seen as low as 15%.
And this is
Um,
net or gross?
uh,
Okay.
gross.
Yeah. So that. Yep.
Yeah. So, 15% to, ones where there's a relationship and so forth, you might be able to push it to 25, 30%. So
Wow.
it really just depends.
Yeah, so how do you make sure you win those jobs? You said you won an apartment complex, right? How do you make
Yep.
sure you win that job? Like you be competitive, but you make money.
Yeah, absolutely. At some point, contribution dollars are any margin becomes contribution dollars,
Mhm.
because you're not necessarily increasing your fixed costs. And it's really playing with the bidding at them until you can figure out where you need to be and where the market is. to have the conversation. So it takes a lot of bidding at it in order to figure it out, figure out where you need to be, and then
Yeah.
then you can have conversations. I just bid a 102 condos in phase one for this one builder, and I had networked with a blind company, so the company that makes the blinds that go into them, and then he referred me to this company.
No
So
way.
I was able to get in the door with them, and then I
Nice.
explained to them my relationship with that other builder in the companies
Oh
we're using,
yeah.
and so all of a sudden we're in the door, right? And call and say, hey, how's my number look? Where am I at? Where do I need to be? Because on the we won, we had won it. We were within 5% of where the other one was, we were told.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they didn't give it to us. And I'm like, what
Oh no
happened?
way.
And they said, hey, they came in, we got an edict from corporate that said we have to go with the lowest bid no matter what. And their number was lower than yours, and the other company was willing to match it, so we decided to
Wow.
go with them. I'm like, well, why didn't you give me an opportunity to say I'd match it?
Yeah.
And so they said, oh, you would be willing to do that? I'm like, I don't know. Why don't you tell me what the number is, and I'll tell you. So then they did, and we were able to number, and we were back
So
in the
they,
game. And
yeah, so that's awesome, man. So they wanted to go with you, but because of this edict that they got, they said, all right, well, we can't. So then you were able to negotiate and that contract.
Yeah, because typically in any market, there's, one, two, maybe three companies in the flooring industry that are willing to go with the low margins in order to execute. And this builder happened to be a builder that has specified products, so they're getting rebates on the back end. So it's a set national pricing for me as well as the bigger companies. So we're all buying at a level playing field, right?
Yeah.
Whereas with some of the other builders and so forth, it necessarily a level playing field because they're able to buy at a much, where they're buying. Oh, I'll buy 3 truckloads. I'm like, I'll buy 5 pallets.
Exactly.
And the pricing is much different.
Yeah. Nice. Flooring could be very competitive.
Yes.
How do you feel about your decision to go into that, 5 years ago?
I know now I may not have, but if I hadn't have, I might not know what I know now. So, I don't tend to rethink my what did I learn now in order to, perfect what I'm doing so that I am better at it moving forward.
Yeah. What would you say some big points are that you learned?
Control costs. I mean, it's basic stuff, right? It's basic business stuff. It's, build relationships as much as you can. Control your costs everywhere that you can. I think the pandemic, from a building construction standpoint, really was not necessarily the best time for me to come into the industry because it inflated how easy it could be, if that makes sense. Because it really pulled all of the demand forward because everybody's sitting at home looking at their floors. And they're like, man, my floors suck. I need to get them replaced. And then the government says, hey, let me give you some checks, some free things. And everybody started buying flooring, right? So it pulled demand forward from now to 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And so we've really seen the retail side of the business in flooring fall quite a bit. And if I had, realized what was going on at the time, I would have, controlled my costs, stockpiled cash, gotten prepared for leaner times. But I think every business could probably say some version of that at some point in time, right? It's markets, right? Go up and down, and it's constantly changing. But everybody's building. Like, we have a housing shortage in America. We have a housing shortage in Columbus, Ohio. Columbus, Ohio is one of the top 10 fastest growing cities in the nation. And they build enough. And some of these builders, like one who just started getting into the apartment complex, he's like, I build 1,000 units this year. 1,000 new apartment units. Others are, the builder that I was talking about before, with all of the projects that they go have in the next 2 years, they're probably building 10,000 homes in Central Ohio.
Wow.
And they're one of 10 production home builders.
Yeah, that are doing similar volume. Yeah. So 2020 is a really great year to start. And then,
strange way. I mean, the was bad, right? So, more than 50% of Creative Flooring Ohio's business is selling flooring to Red Roof Inns nationwide, and that's company started, and so hospitality sales went away, right? And so I stay home. It was definitely a tough beginning to the year. It got better, actually, though. But one of my warehouses burnt to the ground in October of that year.
No way.
Yeah, interesting time. So,
how'd you stay in business?
So we had two. So we had a main warehouse, and then we had our showroom that had a warehouse attached to it. And so our main warehouse, which was probably 200 feet away from the other warehouse, is the one that burnt to the ground. And so we were able to just utilize this attached to the showroom to kind of keep things going. We were down for a couple of days, but yeah, it was challenging. But at the same time, it was a blessing because we got to move the building to a better location on the property and rebuild it as we wanted it to be, right? So it works out. Later that year I got sued for a project that the prior owner had done, and because I bought the company as an asset or as a stock purchase instead of an asset purchase, I was liable for that. And come to find out, she knew about it and failed to disclose it. So I used the money that I owed her in my seller's note to cover what left, and now me and that developer have done over $1 million worth of business together.
No way.
Yeah,
Jeremy, you're a salesperson.
I try. It's genuine. Like I tell customers all the time. One of our things is integrity. Do it right or make it right. We will screw up. And either not going to screw up is not being honest.
Yeah, they're full of
it. Act to it and.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. So Creative Flooring Ohio is the one business name, and the other one?
Nice Carpet. Nice Carpet. One. Yep.
One, and that's in Newark.
Newark, Ohio.
I love it, man. I love it. Full service. I'm pulling it up here just to take a look. Newark there. The Columbus and kind of surrounding area. Would that be an accurate sort of statement there? That's fantastic, man. You guys have a lot of runway in front of you.
We do. But we're also in the city that I didn't realize that we were in, which has the number 1 and number 2 largest flooring contractors in the United States.
No way.
Who happen to be father and son.
Oh, no way. Really?
Yeah. So one does $500 million a year in business, and the other one does $200 million in business.
No way.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of market out there then. That's what that means.
Well, they're also nationwide, right? Like, so the $500 million one is nationwide, right? Like they've got stores everywhere. The other one, a number of stores throughout the, Columbus, Cincinnati, Indianapolis, everywhere else. So but there's tons of work. I mean, it shows you like how much work there is, how much abundance there is in the world, right?
Absolutely.
People are always like, well, what happens if you lose this? It's like, it doesn't matter. Like, it really doesn't matter. Like, everybody can win. Like, I want everybody to win.
Totally. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Absolutely. Yeah. Abundance mindset. There's opportunity out there. It's just up to us to go and get after it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I love that, Jeremy. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for your time on the show today. Learning about how you navigated COVID, navigated purchasing a flooring company. So look, I've got some money. I want to have a better future for me and my family. That's awesome. And ended up buying another one. Some setbacks with things burning down, getting lawsuits, just going through COVID in general, having a kind of a big push, strangely enough, through that windfall a little bit after. But you're still here. 2025. We're already in May, and you're still doing well. That's awesome, man. I love to hear it. Yeah. So if anyone needs carpet or tile or flooring in general, in Columbus or surrounding areas, you know where to go. You've got flooring, Creative Flooring Ohio, and then Nice Carpets. Look them up. Eventually, you'll be able to purchase everything online. But until then, maybe Jeremy, you're the one they'll be talking to.
Yeah, absolutely. Me and my team would love to help anybody. And even we're here to answer any questions that you may have. And provide service and serve anyone in any way that we can.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jeremy. Appreciate having you on the show.
Yep. Thank you, Quinton.
Yep. See ya.